Stuart Dryberg was the DOP on that, who was incredibly experienced. And I think I was the production coordinator. Katerina Denave was the producer, and Christine was the director. So it was a great team of people to be involved with. So I was the production coordinator, and I think one night there was a big party scene, and I got roped in as girlfriend number 3. So that was quite exciting. No preparation, nothing. You just sort of had to leap in there. And yeah, so now when you look up my name on IMDb, I have a credit as an actress. It's great. I love it. I knew Harry Sinclair. Harry had this idea to make these little short 3-minute films once a week, get a group of people together. He had no money, and he heard that I was interested in editing, so he asked if I wanted to help, and so we started. Everybody on that project had no idea what they were doing. You know, it was the first time project for the producer, it was the first time project for the DP. I think Harry was attracted to that idea that we didn't come armed with experience and protocol, and we were just all doing it. And that's, I think, what he was tapping into. And that combination of everybody being that way was a great, was the great leveller. So no one was showing off. We were all just kind of doing it, and I think that was the energy that really fueled that that whole film. Yeah, it was extraordinary to be involved in something that Renner was associated with, and I'd known Simon from way back when I used to work at Theatre Corporate many years before I even got into the film industry, and then of course Nancy Brunning, Sophia Hawthorne, Dino Gorman. So it was a real there was this beautiful colour palette, really, of acting experience, you know, and then I think when you sort of add Kirsty Cameron doing costume, Darryl Ward DOP, you know, you had a film that was really exciting to look at and listen to. A film like When Love Comes Along and working with Garth, he was always really open to experimentation and really open to you know, dropping things, rewriting things. You know, I mean, that's the best thing that you want with a director, is someone who's open, who's not sort of absolutely fixed with the way that they want to tell that story. The Price of Milk was a different kind of storytelling for Harry. It wasn't an urban tale. It was magic surrealism, taking place on this farm. A dairy farm, yeah, and so everything about it was much more challenging on so many different levels, and the story itself, I mean, that story changed radically in the edit, and there was a lot of pickups, a lot of, but you know, we constructed the story as we went, which was really exciting. Harry had discovered this Russian composer on the radio one day, and he had given me the tape of his music, and I had experimented with a particular scene in the house, and Harry came back into the room, and I had cut all these little moments to this incredibly orchestral ballet kind of music, and it was like watching some kind of surreal ballet, and that's when we got really excited and knew that we were doing something completely different. Yeah. Simone was a first-time director who can't raise huge amounts of money as a first-time director, and all first-time directors in New Zealand have to deal with this. And so there's many things in the script that don't necessarily come up to the fore once you're in the edit room. So a lot of that film didn't make the final cut, and not because of performances or elements or everything, but you're just trying to stitch together the best of the story elements to tell that story. And I think when you're dealing with the story of a child who's lost, and he's never found. I mean, personally, I will always try and honour the pathos of that story, yeah, and not kind of muck around with it and try and be too fruity. And you know, I personally am really attracted to much more experimental ways of telling stories, but I think in this case it needed to be very not prosaic, but we had to honour the pure emotion and detective work of this story, because we had to make a compelling argument that this man was innocent and he needed to be freed. I went out with Michael one afternoon to meet Taina on one of his out days, and we had a really great conversation and met his daughter and everything, and he's such a gorgeous man. I think the thing that really touched me is, and it would touch anybody, is watching the full interviews, which really is a film in itself. The interviews from when Tainapora sort of first entered the interview room, which is just this square room and just one camera, and is just, you just watch him being interviewed. And I actually think there's a film in there of just editing up these interviews. They're just heartbreaking. The challenges in the edit suite was looking at who held the power. You know, you've got a classic hostage situation in a house where it looks like you know, one person is the hostage and the other people are the captives, and that gets overturned. And then and so one of the great delights in editing actors is that you're always looking at who's got the power in this scene, and how can I convey that in the edit room, and how I cut from one person to the other, and are they looking at that character, are they looking away, you know, everything in the body language, the pace, the holding of the glare, the holding of the stare, you know, all of those elements in a scene, you are contributing to that shift of power between actors. So it was a great script for that, and I remember reading it, and I remember thinking this will be a great script to cut. It's a bit of an editor's piece. I'm really proud of this film because I think it's a film about creativity and how it blinds us, drives us, befuddles us, hurts us, humiliates us. It's about the downfall and the uprise, and Sam's take on it was to tell it through the parents and girlfriends of the band. And we were really lucky in that the band members chose to be brutally honest about themselves and each other. And it's a great, yeah, it's a really interesting film into the mechanics of the rock and roll industry that you don't have to be a fan of Shihad to respond to. And one of the telling things is everybody I know who ever said, I saw that Shihad film and I really loved it, I'd always say, oh, did you watch it on the plane? And they go, yeah, how did you know that? And the reason was because no one I knew saw it at the movies. But they'd always start watching it on the plane, and they'd start watching it, and then they'd get involved, and then they'd actually kind of, before they knew it, they were at the end of the film and had really enjoyed it. So I don't know what that says. You know, we've got to encourage people to get to the movies to see our films.